Hello, and welcome to today's show, Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Burgess, international leadership expert and trusted advisor. Welcome to Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. I'm so delighted that you joined me. I have a very special show for you today. I'm going to share with you some of my favorite ways to slow down. That's right, slow down and take care of yourself when your life gets a little crazy or you're feeling a little or even a lot overwhelmed. Today, I am going to focus specifically on the rhythm of renewal. Don't you love that? The rhythm of renewal. And I'm going to ask you to share the wealth. After you listen to this show, I want you to tell a friend. And I want you to come back to this podcast over and over again when you need some words to remind you to hit the pause button, to slow down, so that you can take time to take good care of yourself. And just a little mini commercial here before I get started with slowing down. I just want to remind you that if you love to give and serve folks like I do, hey, go to my website and subscribe to my weekly inspirations. That's another way to slow down. That way, you can also get a breath of fresh air in your inbox every week to start you on the week. And I'll tell you a little bit more about how to do that later in the podcast. Okay? All right. Let's get started. Annie Dillard reminds us that how we spend our days is, of course, how we spend our lives. And you are listening in today because you want to take the lead in your life. And I know you want to take good care of yourself. Dr. Matthew Edlund says, rest is the original transformative technology. I love that. Rest is the original transformative technology. Through rest, we rebuild, rewire, and renew ourselves, literally. Rest, rebuild, rewire, and renew. Now, I have a very special word that I use for all of those RE words, a word that rolls them all together, and that word is sanctuary. In fact, I've written a book called Sanctuary, so you can check it out sometime on Amazon or go through your local indie bookseller. Now, we have all experienced sanctuary at some time in our lives. Many of you will recognize sanctuary as an intentional time out. A purposeful pause from your normal stream of continuous activity. This purposeful pause taps into your innate sense, your inner knowing of the sacred. It is your soul's way to remember who you are. Who you are when you're not overcommitted, who you are when you're not overwhelmed, who you are when you're not obsessed with speed, who you are when you're not distracted, you're not stressed out, you're not numbed out, you're not merely going through the motions of living. Instead, you are living the life that is meant just for you. A life that embraces and seamlessly includes the natural, necessary rhythms of rest and renewal. Some of you might run the other way or flee from the very notion, the very mention of sanctuary. I'm going to tell you now, resist that urge. Resist it. Instead, consider the invitation to enter sanctuary as a gentle summons, a gracious reminder that is calling to you to let go, calling to you to simply pause and surrender to a slower tempo, to a pace and rhythm that is altogether different from your daily routine. When we actually allow ourselves to let go, sanctuary allows us to experience the eternal, that state that we also refer to as kairos. Now, the Greeks had many, many words for time. Kairos and chronos are two of them. And kairos means the time of the gods, the time of God, the eternal. In fact, Madeleine L'Engle says that when we are in kairos, we are fully in isness, fully, wholly, positively. Did you know that sanctuary resides within us? It dwells within our innermost being. And you know what? There are so many blessings that sanctuary offers. We've already talked about a few of them, so let's add a few more. In addition to rest and renewal, it also offers the blessings of respite, revelation, reignition, and restoration. Now, I know that for some of you out there, this notion that sanctuary resides within us is kind of radical, right? Now, why is that? Well, because most folks in our culture believe that sanctuary is something that exists outside of ourselves, outside of who we are. So let me be really clear. Sanctuary is not a thing. However, certain experiences and physical places can provide clues about the feeling tone of the sanctuary within. For example, the experience of a long, satisfying walk, or witnessing a breathtaking sunrise or sunset, or looking at snow-capped mountains, cathedrals, forests, deserts, meadows, labyrinths, lakes, beautiful refuges of our own making. Most of us have enjoyed such experiences, right? Now, I just got back from a long, satisfying walk right next to the ocean. And on the other side, wonderful floral gardens, roses and nasturtium and lupines and delphinium and all kinds of wonderful, beautiful flowers, right? So we know instinctively, we know that these kinds of experiences can evoke the feeling tone of sanctuary. And they can also enhance our awareness of how we can cultivate sanctuary as an interior or inner resource. The key challenge to experiencing sanctuary is to actually make the transition from doing to being, right? I'm going to repeat that because this is really important, right? The important thing I want you to know is to make that shift from doing to being. And that's really hard for us, right? To make this shift, the first thing you have to do is to let go. Just let go of the busyness in the exterior realm of your life, in the exterior realm of doing, so that you can cross the threshold and enter your interior realm of being. Now, what does this mean? Another way of saying what I just said is to let go of your ordinary life, right? Leave the kids, leave the dishes, leave the laundry, leave the cleaning, leave washing the dog, okay? Leave work, all of those things. Leave your ordinary life. Just let it go so that you can actually enter the extraordinary realm of sanctuary. A realm of rest and renewal, wonder and revelation, where your emotional, intellectual, physical, and spiritual health and happiness are primary, front and center. In other words, if you're like me especially, you have to let go of serving others just for a while, just for you, so you can be of service to yourself. Now, I have to tell you that this sounds pretty simple, doesn't it, right? But simple isn't always easy. Again, especially if you're like me, you have to let go of at least a dozen or so things, projects, whatever you're working on. If you travel a lot like I do, and you're not used to slowing down to take care of you. Now, I'm really good at slowing down to care for my family, my friends, my clients, my students, right? But I find it very difficult to slow down just to take care of me. Am I speaking to anybody out there? I know I am. So when I wrote my book called Sanctuary, I actually dedicated it to my husband and best friend who supports me in making a way for sanctuary and, most importantly, practicing what I preach. So let me share a secret with you. When you attend to and care for yourself, when you attend to and care for your interior life, you will reap amazing rewards in your interior as well as your exterior life. Now, for some of you, I know that your inner sanctuary is readily accessible. Like a dear friend, it's like an abiding, familiar, and really profound presence. And when you're out of sync, when you're out of harmony, you simply access your inner sanctuary to help you remember who you are. You attune to the sacred whispers within yourself to recenter yourself, right? To welcome yourself home to your true nature. I sometimes call it getting Gloria's groove back, right? But I know for most of us, sanctuary is often obscured. It's hidden from us. Maybe we could find it once upon a time when life was simpler, when life was slower, before you got married or had children or got that promotion. But now it's buried. It's gone. It's buried beneath the mound of disappointments, life-draining drama, and distractions that you have actually allowed to invade and inhabit your interior life. And now you must discover or uncover all kinds of stuff, all kinds of distractions, and reacquaint yourself with your inner sanctuary. Let me tell you this. Whether it's your constant companion or hidden deep within you, sanctuary summons you. It beckons you to liberate yourself from distraction, from exhaustion, from overwork, from too many yeses, to step away from the oppressive demands of clock time, of what we call chronos, clock time, right? Sanctuary is actually a summons, a calling to you to cross the threshold into the gracious realm of tranquility and refreshment where the daily tyranny of hours and minutes and seconds no longer rule. This summons is an exquisite invitation. An invitation to step out of the ordinary experience of life and enter into Kairos, that extraordinary experience of the eternal that lives and breathes within you. Sanctuary invites you to immerse yourself in this extraordinary time out of time. Invites you to go to that lovely place inside yourself. That place where author Pearl S. Buck says she lives all alone, where she renews her springs that never dry up. Don't you love that? Now this place, this interior place, this sanctuary is a marvelous presence that you can cultivate, and you take it with you wherever you go. I actually believe that sanctuary is your soul's reason for being. As I mentioned earlier, seeking sanctuary requires you to slow down, to hit the pause button. Now, in our culture of speed, slowing down is not the norm. Slowing down is actually countercultural. So seeking and saying yes to sanctuary is a radical act. That's right, it's a radical act of hospitality. Indeed, it is one of the wonderful ways we can inwardly proclaim and host the majesty of our soul. Like any other form of leadership or artistry, like any other form of declaring yourself and declaring your personal authority, proclaiming your soul is a political act. I like to think of it as a revolutionary offering. That's right, a revolutionary offering of bread and water to the hungry and thirsty in spirit. That's right, and that's you. Right? Here's the good news. Here is a way to begin. A very simple way to begin to seek sanctuary is to notice those places and spaces and people and moments that nourish you, that refresh you, that revive you, that make you come fully alive. Perhaps it's a warm breeze brushing across your face, or falling asleep beneath a star-studded sky, or gazing out upon a tranquil cerulean sea. Or maybe it's simply putting your feet up and relaxing in your favorite chair in a secluded spot in your living room or your backyard or on your deck or porch or patio, right? Maybe it's enjoying listening to soothing or uplifting music, or the sacred pause of life-affirming silence. Hey, or maybe it's unplugging from your iPad or cell phone for a whole day, right? Or maybe you just long to take a long, quiet stroll in the park while your husband stays home and watches the kids. You can also seek sanctuary by noticing what awakens your senses, by noticing what invigorates you and renews you. Colors, fragrances, images, shapes, sounds, tastes, textures, silence. And as you heighten your awareness of your sensory environment, you're actually equipping yourself. That's right, you're equipping yourself to notice, nourish, and nurture the sanctuary that resides within you. As you seek sanctuary, you're actually cultivating some of the habits or practices of sanctuary. Now, in another episode, I include more practices and more habits that will help you cultivate sanctuary. For now, simply notice. Just pay attention. Notice the rhythm of your daily and weekly routines. And as you do, ask yourself a few questions. Ask yourself, what nourishes me? What nourishes me? What feeds me? What renews and rejuvenates me? Another question to ask yourself is, what helps me feel rested and restored? And what helps me feel fully alive and present? I'll repeat those questions because you might want to jot them down, okay? What nourishes me? What renews and rejuvenates me? What helps me feel rested and restored? And what helps me feel fully alive and present? So as you go through the rhythm of your daily routine, your weekly routines, ask yourself those questions. And don't judge yourself, but just notice and ask yourself those questions. Now, your answers to those questions will provide clues to your experiencing, seeking, and cultivating sanctuary. You might actually find yourself already practicing some of the habits of sanctuary. How cool is that, right? Your responses will provide clues to what feeds and nourishes your soul. And when you acknowledge and claim your soul, you actually assert authority and power in your own life. You also cultivate resilience. Now, we all long for a way of being in the world that has an affinity with the soul, an affinity that opens us to experience the present moment with a sense of immediacy, intention, and emotion, right? In other words, we're present for our own life. And some of those ways are things we take for granted, like appreciating the sun's warm fingers, the warm caress on our shoulders, our neck, our face, on a beautiful summer morning. Enjoying the relaxation and rhythm of play. It's loving yourself for who you are, not for who you want to be, for who you are. Being in an engaging, radiant relationship with people in your family, people who are your friends. Sanctuary nurtures our affinity with the soul. It allows you to splurge in your senses, to just feel them all, and to be aware of them all. Be aware of something as it comes on the tip of your tongue, right? And you taste it. And don't just swallow it, but you actually savor it. Sanctuary allows you to see with new eyes, to listen deeply, to appreciate the miracle of each new moment, each new day. It allows you to open new doors, to see beyond differences, to embrace our shared humanity, to be a global citizen, to engage in purposes beyond your own. Believe in someone else's future. Belong to lives other than your own. To respect the birthright dignity of all. To be guided by a power older than civilization or culture, older than time. To lift your eyes to a horizon beyond your day-to-day routine. I hope you enjoy the realm of sanctuary. It is there for you to support you to rest, renew, and restore yourself. There to support you to reignite your passion, to reconnect you with your purpose, to remember who you are and all that is essential, to recatalyze your life force energy, to rejoice in your innate gifts of awe, creativity, imagination, inspiration, joy, and wonder. Sanctuary is there to help you let go of the daily grind so that you can recenter, recharge, and re-enchant your life. I'm so grateful for the many people in my life who have held, mentored, and nurtured me, family, friends, and total strangers who have helped me learn more deeply about sanctuary and its profound necessity and beneficial balm in my speed-obsessed life. I'm part of the culture. I know you are too. I'm also grateful for the healing presences of place and the powerful guidance and sustenance of the Holy Spirit. I'm also grateful to you for caring enough about yourself and those you love to learn about sanctuary. And finally, my deep gratitude to all the people and places and presences that continue to reveal the blessings of sanctuary. Now, for me, one of those many presences is poetry. So before I close this episode, I want to share a poem with you, a poem inspired by one of my favorite poets, Lucille Clifton. Lucille Clifton. Lucille for light. Even her name helps me. It just helps me tap into and drop into that beautiful realm of sanctuary. So this is one of my own poems called Blessing the Light. Blessing the Light. Thinking of Lucille Clifton. May the stars that shimmer even now beneath the surface of our knowing light your way. May the stars that shimmer even now beneath the surface of our knowing light your way beyond the valley of fear. May you open your arms, then pull them back, assured that another's will shelter you from any storm. May you lift your face to the sun, sun that favors you always. And may you in your brilliance shine, a beacon for others from here to there. I hope these words have inspired you today. Now, you've heard me say this before. Inspired comes from the Latin inspirare. Inspirare, which means to breathe into or upon. To breathe into or to breathe upon. So let this episode breathe into you and inspire you to a renewed energy, a renewed outlook, a renewed sense of hope, and a renewed life. And as you are revived and renewed and restored, be sure to share the wealth. Be sure to share your blessings at somebody else's table. That's how you do it. That's how you make your life count. You can be the change you seek. Just remember this. How you live is how you lead. You have the power to make our world a better place. All right. I want you to be sure to listen to this episode again and again, and be sure to tell somebody. Now, you can find me right here on iTunes, Audible, Alexa, SoundCloud, iHeart, TuneIn, Spreaker.com, Talk Network Radio, and so many other places. If you happen to miss any part of this week's show, or you missed last week's episode, you can simply download the recording and listen to it at your convenience. You can even listen to it on the go. Check us out at www.talknetworkradio.com/hosts/legacy living. That's talknetworkradio.com/hosts/legacy living. You can learn more about my work and Legacy Living Make Your Life Count by visiting the Gloria Burgess website. And, as I mentioned earlier in this episode, you can subscribe to my inspirations on my website. You just scroll down a bit, look on the right sidebar until you see the place to add your email to subscribe to my weekly inspirations. It's that simple, right? Okay, so go to my website, scroll down a screen or two, then look on the right sidebar until you see the little place where you can add your email to subscribe to my weekly inspirations. It's that simple. So again, To learn more about me and my work, just browse a bit on my website, or you can visit me on LinkedIn or on Facebook. And you can find me on Facebook right here, facebook.com/DR for Dr. Gloria Burgess, PhD. Okay? So LinkedIn, Facebook, facebook.com/DR Gloria Burgess, PhD. Before I close today, I want to thank each of you for tuning in to today's show, for allowing me to share a bit about my journey with what legacy living is all about. Not just living and learning, but living and learning and serving so that you make a difference in your own life and in the lives of others. It's about being on purpose every single day, 365, 24/7. Legacy living is a powerful way to make your life count. Once again, I want to thank you for joining me for today's show. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Burgess, and this is Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. Please join me again next time right here on Talk Network Radio for another episode of Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. Don't just count the days in your life. Make the days in your life count. That's what legacy living is all about. Have a fantastic day, and remember, make the days in your life count. God bless you. That's our show today. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Burgess. I hope you'll join me again next time. Until then, don't just count the days in your life. Make the days in your life count. That's what legacy living is all about. Here's to you. Have a fantastic day, and be sure to make it a yes kind of day. Remember to celebrate the music of your life. Make the days in your life count.